Hey, what's up? This is George Shamon. In this live stream, I'm gonna go over the units of measurements when you use HTML5 and CSS3. You know, if you're building a simple web page or working with the coding using HTML, CSS, even if you're using JavaScript too, uh, you're supposed to know uh, how to use the units of measurement because you have to make sure how to decide what size to use and what for an element or fonts, you know, the text. So each one on a web page has a size. So you want to make sure you understand the units of measurement for sizes used in HTML, CSS, and I've been studying those for a long time. You know, in the last couple days, I've been looking over different resources, and I think I have nailed the basics, so I can help you understand most of it. And I wrote them down here. So the first one I have is the pixel. So the pixel on a web page, you know, the unit of measurement, if you're, let's say you're building a code, HTML, CSS, and then you have fonts. You can fonts or any other elements on a web page. You can use pixel if you want. Let's say you type a sentence and you want to decide how big you want the fonts, you know, the text size. Uh, you can use pixels. This is number one here. I have a list here about five. But the problem with the pixels, they're absolute. It means they don't change with the size of a web page. And nowadays, a lot of people are browsing the internet using cell phones and tablets. So that's a different screen from the desktop. So if you use the pixel, the pixel, it's the absolute value and it does not change. So because you want the sizes of elements or fonts to change when you change the screen to be, you know, in the same approximation or ratio, or, you know, like you cannot have the same size of an element on a web page on the desktop and then the same element will be on the mobile. That doesn't make sense because the mobile, the cell phone, and the tablet, they have smaller screens than the desktop. So this is why you have to understand how to use the sizes. And so now the pixels are when you type a sentence in your you know code editor. The default is 16 pixel. When the browser looks at the code, it's gonna be, it's gonna assume that the whole page is 16 pixel. The fonts, you know, when you write the text, but you wanna change it because then you can specify what size you want. Now, if you use pixel, the pixel, like I said, it does not change size, and you don't want the same text size on a mobile and on a desktop and a tablet. Looks the same size. It should change with the screen size. So this is number one. Now, number two is percentages. You can use percentages. Let's say if you want to limit the size of a square on a web page, or you make it bigger, you can use percentages like 50%. And 50% will be of the parent element, you know, the element that contains the element, you know. So, but I haven't used percentages too much because I have to gain more understanding about how to use it. The pixel, I know how to use it. And now the third one is the VH and VW. The VH and VW are the viewport. These are very important because you can use them, to decide how big is the object with respect relative to the screen size, to the viewport. So basically, let's say you have an element and you want it to be half the size of your screen, the whole screen. So what you use, 50 VW. The VW, it means viewport width, and the unit is the whole size of the screen, sideway or width. It's 100 VW, and the height of the browser of your screen when you look at the browser, it's 100 VH. So you can use, let's say if you use 50 VW, 50 VW, the element will occupy half of the screen, the whole browser. If you expand the browser to the whole screen, then the 50 VW, it will be half the width of the screen. Now the height will be, let's say 100 VH. The 100 VH will cover the whole height. And if you type 50 VH, the 50 VH will be half the height of the screen. So this is how you decide the size of elements on a web page with respect relative to the viewport or the screen size on a web page, like the whole browser, So and then you have the RAM and the M. Those are very important too, and you should use them when you're using text and to decide how big is the text or how small. And the M and the RAM are relative to certain elements. So the M is relative to its parent. Let's say you have you have a sentence inside a box. So the M will be relative to the size of the box. So if you type, let's say, uh, half M, it will take half of the box. I have to look at this again. I can start forgetting it. And the RAM is relative to the HTML element on the top of the web page, the main element. So basically, if you use RAM, it's gonna be relative to the HTML element on the top of the cascading style sheet. So let's say you use asterisk HTML. And let's say you use the font size 32 pixel, 32 pixel, and if you use 1 RM, it's gonna be 32 pixel. If you use 2 REM, it's gonna be double the size. So it's gonna be, if it's 30, it'll be 60 pixel. So, and then you have the FR. The FR is a unit fraction of of a box. When you use the grid or flex box, that's when you use the FR, the fraction. So those are the units, and there might be more, but these are the most prevalent and useful, those five, the pixel, the percentage, the view height, view W, view width, which is the VH and VW, and then you have the RAM, which is the RAM is relative to the what you specify on a root element of the HTML page. So if in a root element you have, let's say, 10 pixel, 10 pixel, and you use 2 RAM in a web page, it's gonna take 2 times the 10 pixel, which is 20. So it's relative to the top HTML element. And then you have the M. The M is relative to the container, to the parent element that contains it. So I'm gonna have to give you examples on my desktop, maybe tomorrow when I start making more. Now this is just on this, mobile, because I just wanna go over an overview of those units of measurement, and then in a subsequent days, like starting tomorrow, maybe I'll make a tutorial on the screen, So. To show you what I mean by I can show you the let's see. So hey guys, if you're on this live stream, I want to thank you for tuning in. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and submit your questions in the comment box. In this presentation, I'm talking about the units of measurement we use in HTML, CSS coding when you build a web page or a simple code. And there are different unit of measurements. And I went over the pixel, which is the absolute value where it doesn't change when you change the screens from mobile to desktop to tablet. Then you have the percentage, and I have to look the percentage to see exactly how to use it. And then you have the VH and VW. Those are the screen size, the width and the height. You take a percentage of them. So like the width of the web page is 100 VW and the height is VH. And then you can use, like, let's say if you use 50 VH, it means you're using half the height of the web page. And VW, if you use 50 VW, you're using half of the width of the web page. And the RAM, if you're using RAM, somebody is here. Hi, Dreamcat129. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Where are you tuning in from? Are you in the US here? What state are you tuning in from? And if you're overseas, where are you tuning in from? And let me know if you have any questions, please. Do you have any questions about the unit of measurement we use in HTML, CSS when you're building a web page? Let me know. And thank you for tuning in. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss those live updates. So let me know if you have any questions. Again, we're talking about the unit of measurement we use for when we build HTML, CSS, web pages, and codes using Visual Studio Code. So let me know if you have any questions, and because I have more presentation about the unit of measurement in the next few days. I'm gonna start tomorrow. So let me know if you have any question. This is George Shamoun, and I'm coming to you live from the U.S. state of South Dakota in the Midwest. Let me know where you're tuning in from, if you're on this live stream or on a replay in the future. And let me know if you have any questions about using HTML, CSS to make web pages. And in the future, I'll be making more videos about JavaScript. I just have 2 or 3 now on my channel, but I have a lot of videos about HTML, CSS. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let me know if you have any question, so I will answer you on this live stream. I'm coming to you live now. I think it's July 23rd, Tuesday, 10:18 Central Standard Time in the US. So if you have any questions, please let me know so I can answer you on this live stream. Again, we're talking about the units of measurement you use to decide how big the size on HTML element for HTML element and CSS. So who else? Anybody have a question? Guys, let me know if you have any questions about the HTML CSS unit of measurements, so I can explain it to you now. Maybe I can clarify the issues. If you're having a problem with the understanding the units of measurement when you're using HTML, CSS, I can help you now. And if you're on this replay, let me know too, make sure you submit your questions. And also, if you like this kind of content about making web pages and building websites using codes and low-code software, let me know. And what you have, what questions do you have, and submit your what ideas do you have and what questions, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to grow it, so you'll help me and I will help you clarify questions you may have. So all right, maybe I should show you on the screen what we're talking about, So let's look at the screen on my computer. So I can explain some of those, maybe I'll explain the view height. So let me show you the code here. So this is the code, you see it? Just wrote it today, and this is what it shows. So let me show you. So basically, this is the code. If you look at the HTML, this is the HTML page here, and it's a very simple page where I have the boilerplate like I explained last time, and then you have a box. I gave it the ID box 2, and then you have a paragraph. I gave it the P2, the ID, and this is the div. And there's another wrapper. This wrapper is right here, and I'll show you the code in 1 second. And this is the code that it was produced by this HTML CSS page. And so the HTML CSS here, if you look at it, it's very simple. It's box 1. There's a box, and inside the box there is a sentence. And if you look at the CSS styling sheet, because the styling sheet will give the color and the the shape and the style for the elements on a web page. So if you look here, this is the wrapper, and I gave it a border and height, width, and it's this one. And the color is blue. And if you look at it on a web page, that's how it looks. This is the wrapper, the blue box, and it has the red around it, the red border. This is the wrapper here. And then you have box 2. If you look on box 2 here, we gave it a color of blue, gave the background yellow, and the border. Then we gave it the height and the width. It's this one here. And then we gave it some effect, which is the hover effect. If you look here in the CSS file, I gave the box to hover effect. The hover effect will cause those declaration to happen whenever I hover over the box, and I can show you now. If you look on the right side here, I'm gonna hover. If I hover the mouse over the box, it's gonna change. You see, it rotated the box, and this is what you call the hover effect in HTML, CSS. And what happened? This is how you use it. You enter in the CSS style sheet the box 1 colon, and then you add the hover, and in between you add the declaration, like, and what that means, when you hover the mouse over this box 2, the element, those will take place. Basically, the background color, it's aquamarine, and the transform here, the transform is a property that you can give it 3 values. You can make the object rotate, and you specify how many degrees. You can scale it here. You can scale it to make it smaller or bigger. And then you can use the translate X, Y, or Z, and you specify the distance, and this will move the element, along the X axis. If you specify Y, it will move it against the Y axis, and you can use negative, plus or minus on those here. Like the 40 degrees, you can use plus or minus. If you use a plus, it's gonna do clockwise. If you use a negative, it's gonna do counterclockwise. Like now, if I show you, if I hover over it, it's gonna turn clockwise because it's a plus 40. So if we do minus 40 here, it's gonna rotate counterclockwise. So let's see, minus 40, and let's see how it rotates. So you see it rotated in the opposite direction, counterclockwise. So if we put it back to the positive or remove the negative, it will do the. So this is an example, and I'm gonna show you the viewport. The viewport here, if you look on the top here, the wrapper, it says height 50. So let me show you, 50 VH. This 50 VH for the height, it means it's 50 the size of the whole screen here. If you see the browser, I mean, it's gonna be the browser, not the computer screen. So this is the browser here, and if you notice, it's half the screen here. If you look here, this is this size here, this unit, it's 50 VH. It means it's half the size of the screen of the browser. And here, if you look at the width, it's 75 VW. You go here to the 75 VW, and this is 75 of the whole width of the screen, even if you move it. So if you move it, it's gonna change size, but it remains the same unit. So this is a relative unit with respect to the size of the window. So it stays 75, which is a 3/4 of the width of the screen. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you make the screen smaller, it stays 3 times this one here. If you make it bigger, it's both will change size. Also, it's gonna be the same. It's gonna show you the same. Basically, it's a relative unit, the VH. And if you look at the VH of the wrapper, which is the actually, yeah, the VH, it's 50 VH, which is the 50 the height of this browser. So if you look at the whole browser, the height of this wrapper here, it's 50 VH. It means it's half the size of the whole browser here, the whole browser. So it doesn't matter if the browser shrinks or is large, it stays, if you notice, it stays half the distance, which is, this is what's nice about those units. They are relative. So it means they change with the size and they adjust to the screen, whether you're using mobile or using desktop, you know. So anybody have any question about the units of measures when it comes to HTML, CSS? This is George Shamoun. I'm coming to you live and I am explaining how to use the units of measures in HTML, CSS on a web page. So you have the pixel, and this is an absolute value. It doesn't change with the screen size if it changes. Once you decide it's 16 pixel, and we don't recommend using this. I don't recommend it, and other developers don't, because it's an absolute value and it stays the same whether the screen is big or small. It does not adjust the size on the screen. So what you can use is the EM, the M, and the REM, REM, and those are relative. Each one is relative to a certain element on a web page, but they change with the size. And the rem, if you use rem, it's gonna be relative to the HTML object. Let's say you specify in the HTML, you want the pixel to be, usually the default is 16 pixel. If you don't decide anything on a web page, the default is 16 pixel. So if you use rem for the fonts and you use 2 rem, it's gonna look at the main, which is 16. That will be 32, and so and the M will be relative to its parent, not to the main page. So those I'm gonna have to make to create examples about the rem and M and the percentages and the pixels. And now I only showed you the viewport, the VW, the VH, and the VW. So the VH is the view height, and the VW is the width. And those units, they are relative to the screen size to the browser size when you open it on the screen, you know. So if you have any questions, please submit them in a comment. Again, my name is Josh Shamoun, and I'm coming to you live from the US state of South Dakota. And I make video tutorials on YouTube on my channel about HTML, CSS, coding, and making web pages, websites using simple codes or no code software like SaaS, online services. So if you have any questions about using HTML, CSS codes, how to create one, how to edit them, and I make a simple, like you said, simple codes, you know. Let me know, submit your questions in the bottom, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any live stream like this one, because I can answer your questions on a live stream if you have, whenever you have them. And make sure you submit your any comments in a box or any questions you have so I can answer you on this live stream right now. So if not in a replay, you can submit your questions on a replay in the future, and I can still answer you. So anybody else have a question about the units of measurements when it comes to HTML, CSS on a web page using Visual Studio Code, which is a code editor? Let me know, and make sure you drop your where you're tuning in from, if you're on this live stream or even if you're on a replay, and let me know what you're interested to learn about, and if you have any questions and or comments about using HTML, CSS to make simple codes, you know. So, and make sure if you're interested in this kind of content to subscribe to the channel, because I'll be making more videos like these live streams, and to answer your questions live on this live stream. And so make sure you subscribe if you like this kind of content, making web pages, simple websites using software as a service, online services, and using your computer to edit codes using Visual Studio Code or other code editor. And we're talking about using HTML, CSS, and the units of measurement on a web page. And I'll be making more video in the next few days like this one. And I will be showing you my computer and some codes and how it behaves. So make sure you submit your questions, and let me know where you're tuning in from. And don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in this kind of topics and subjects about building websites, web pages using low code or no code software and services. So any questions, any comments, let me know where you're tuning in from if you're on this live stream. And if you have any questions about the unit of measurement, because this video, this presentation now, it's about the units we use to create a web page. It's a pixel, it's a percentage, it's rem, etc. And if you have any questions, let me know so we can I can answer them now on this live stream. Anybody have a question about using HTML, CSS, and the unit of measures we use on a web page, like the pixel, the the rem, and the VH, and the VW and VH. Those are very important. Those viewports are very important because you can use them uh, and you can specify the element size with respect to the screen size, and they can adjust when you make your browser bigger or smaller. And these are good for because nowadays most people are on they're not only on a desktop, they're browsing the internet on mobile phone. That's why you have to make sure you use the relative units, not the absolute ones, because if you use pixel, the absolute, it's not gonna change, like the fonts, and it might be the same on a mobile and desktop, and that's not what you want. So you want to make sure it adjusts to the screens. Uh, if you have any questions, submit it in a comment, and let me know if you're interested to learn about specific topics about making web pages using HTML, CSS. And I'll be making more videos in the future about the JavaScript, because I'm learning it too. And now I feel comfortable with the HTML, CSS, with the basics. Uh, Once I start feeling comfortable with the JavaScript, I'll be making more videos. So make sure you let me know if you're interested in learning about those topics, and if you have any questions. And let me know where you're tuning in from, if you're on this live stream or in a future on a future replay. Are you in the US here? What state are you tuning in from? I'm very interested to know if you are in the US or overseas. I want to know who I'm reaching and where, and this is very important. And I want to thank you so much for being on this live stream. Thank you for your time and attention. So, who else? Anybody have a question? Anyone? Okay, I guess I'm gonna wrap it up for tonight, and because there's no questions coming in. So and Nobody is on this live stream right now, so okay, guys, I want to wrap it up, and let me know if you're watching the replay. Let me know what you're interested to know from. I get your comments, and then I'll make more videos, and hopefully tomorrow you'll have any ideas. If not, I'll come up with an idea about the same. I'm doing this series about the unit of measurement that you can use on HTML, CSS, because this is very important. And again, my name is George Shamoun, and I'm coming to you live. I mean, live right now. Later on, it won't be live. All right, have a good night, good evening, and see you next time.